Hey, what's up, good people? It's Rob here. I want to thank Spirit Script for sending me the link to this video. Illegals want it all, and they want it now. And daily, their arrogance becomes harder and harder for many of us to have to take, to have to listen to, to have to look at. You people are not special. You are not entitled to anything that any other illegal immigrant is entitled to. You are in our country illegally. You are illegal. Against the law.
Now, this video comes with a trigger warning. In it, you will see a white woman telling a group of people of color to be quiet so she can white-splain to them. Please have any small children cover their ears. In fact, you should probably cover your own, too. Watch this.
For a long time, we've been fighting the fight for the dreamers. My colleagues.
We're not dreamers.
I'm not. Do you want to hear an answer, or do you just want to shout? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You do not. You don't know what you're talking about.
The revolution always consumes itself. Now, why were those people so mad at Pelosi? Well, they're furious that she's negotiating with the president to protect DACA beneficiaries from being deported. Instead, they want a total and immediate amnesty for all 11 million, maybe 15 million, no one really knows, illegal immigrants currently in this country. Avan Seha is an illegal immigrant. He's the founder of Undocumedia. He joins us tonight. Avan, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tucker. I am undocumented, a DACA beneficiary, and actually born a crime when I was immigrating here at 9 months old.
Huh. So I guess what I find so striking about that video and about a lot of other things that I've seen in the past few weeks is the lack of gratitude and the hostility from people who are really getting a pretty good deal from the United States, apparently. People who are here illegally, breaking U.S. law, benefiting in a lot of ways from U.S. society, which is the richest in the world, the most orderly, the cleanest, the fairest, and yet seem hostile toward the United States. I never hear a single person say, you know what, thank you. Why not, I wonder?
I believe that undocumented immigrants, DACA recipients, are simply reacting to what's continuing to be done over years, and that is they're talking about us, but they're not talking with us. They are not including us in the conversations, and this is something that's going to be addressed. Both parties will be held accountable. People have something to refer to, records, to indicate how promising these agreements can be, and that's voting record. We're going to be holding people on both sides of the party who at some point may have voted against us, and that's all we have. That's the only premise we have.
Hold on. Slow down. You're issuing a threat, and I want to understand what that threat means. You're saying as an illegal here, you're not a U.S. citizen. You're saying you and other non-U.S. citizens are going to hold U.S. citizens accountable for not being nice enough to non-U.S. citizens? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that these elected officials are there to represent all constituents, including undocumented immigrants that live in these communities. And although we do not vote them in directly, we do take great part in our community and also ask to be represented. We are paying taxes, we are contributing to the community, and we just ask for representation.
No, what you just, and by the way, I've always been very pro-immigrant and am in some ways still, and pro-immigration actually. You're making me very anti-immigration by what you're saying right now, because of its tone, but also because of the threat you just issued to people who don't see it your way. You're not a U.S. citizen. The U.S. government exists to serve the needs and protect the needs of U.S. citizens. It does not exist to protect the needs of non-U.S. citizens. Do you see the distinction? I think all countries are that way. All of them.
I also understand. Do you understand, taxation without representation, something that this country was founded on? I believe we are paying taxes. I believe we deserve to be represented. I'm not issuing any threat other than we are going to go ahead and no longer allow people to make agreements that jeopardize our community behind our back. We want to be protected. We want to have relief that includes our parents, our brothers, our uncles who don't fit the typical dreamer narrative per se.
But why do you have a right to demand anything? I mean, and by the way, let me just be really clear, for the fifth time, I'm sympathetic to a lot of the DACA people because they didn't choose to come here illegally. But I'm more sympathetic to American citizens because I am one, and I have something in common with them because they're Americans too. And so I don't understand on what grounds you make these demands. If I show up in someone else's country and say, you know what, I demand to have a voice in the political system here, I demand benefits, I demand respect, they'd say, buzz off, pal, leave. Like, you have no position from which to demand those things. Do you see what I mean?
No, I understand. The context of the video that you were referring to, those are DACA beneficiaries, 800,000, which are now in limbo as a result of the loss of DACA or the threat to it, and there isn't anything happening in the next 6 months. So they are reacting to that. These are people who are very much well involved in our communities. They are teaching our children. They are police officers, firemen, paramedics. Even in the recent hurricane hits, they were putting their lives on the line to save other people. And nowhere did they question,
that's just
are you
nonsense.
a citizen?
It's just totally
are you a legal
nonsense.
permanent resident?
Nonsense. It's just nonsense. Okay. Yeah, some of them are great
No,
people. Some of them are criminals and drug dealers. They're people. Okay. So not all of them are future Medal of Honor recipients. Let's stop with the propaganda. I'm asking a much bigger question about what citizenship means and about the rights of people from other countries to demand political influence and money from a country that's not theirs. And I'm just saying it's a kind of a weird posture, an entitled posture for you to take. Like, I demand this. Really? On what grounds? Are you following me?
Again, they're contributing to this country, and they deserve to be
some
represented.
Some aren't.
They have been here for years. They are not new. And that applies to every population. I know plenty of good citizens. I know plenty of bad citizens, if you want to go by that narrative.
I agree with that.
And no matter what, there are people in everywhere.
But they're citizens and non-citizens. That's the distinction that the left is seeking to erase. We're all the same. And my point is, no, the point of a government is to look out for the citizens. That's why a citizen is different from a non-citizen. You are subject to the laws of, but also benefiting from the protections of, a government. I mean, I don't understand. So, like, everyone in the world who wants to come to the United States can just show up, go on benefits, reap the benefits of our society. Like, why would we allow that?
Nobody's actually doing that. Actually, there is no line right now for anyone in this country to get behind. There are forms, etc., applications that people can apply for from their respective countries. What we're talking about is millions of people who are already here. 800,000 DACA beneficiaries who are currently in limbo. These are people who there's no line to get behind. Just to put things in perspective, the immigration system is currently processing applications from 1995, something we have no control over, just to show what's going on.
But that's really not, up to you to like or dislike, because you don't have grounds for that. And look, I would concede that some of the DACA kids are a little bit different because they came here as small children, as you did. But for the 11 to 15 million people who snuck in the country and are using forged documents to work, undercutting the wages of American citizens, on what basis do they get to tell me as an American citizen, I want this, I demand that? Like, what? Why would a normal society take that seriously? You have no right to demand anything if you're one of those people. Do you?
Again, I'm one of the main examples of people, millions who have been here for decades. We've been contributing.
These are major distinctions that you're ignoring. Okay. And so you think that all of your relatives...
There's push and pull factors.
Yeah. Get to come here,
There's push and pull factors for this immigration. There are pull factors being that we are the largest economy and we require workers to sustain it. Also, the push factors are that the U.S.
That's just garbage. You learned that in some school that
you
went to. Actually, we've got almost 100 million of American citizens not working right now. So, like, don't tell me we need more.
Let's put it in perspective. There are 11 million undocumented immigrants. There's 320 million U.S. population. Are you going to tell me that 3.5% of the population are responsible for the problems of the other close to 97%?
Well, of course, I would never make, that's just another ludicrous argument. I would never make that claim. I don't think that. I think Americans are mostly responsible.
What people like you are making.
I don't know who people like me are. Learn how to, follow a rational train of thought. I'm not saying that. I've never said that. I don't think it. I think Americans are responsible for mostly their own problems. But importing millions of low-wage workers every year does not help. Not in this economy. And you know it, but you don't care. Anyway, Yvonne, thank you.
No, I do care.
Yeah, I can tell.